Ever linked it back to this quote where we said we're going to analyze for the next few nights, Husaynu minni wa ana min al-Husayn. Just before that, however, I wanted to make one point. You see, we mentioned yesterday that this farsh, when we place it down, it's an open invite, not only to our families, our friends, but to the A'imma alayhimus salam, the likes of Rasulullah, Imam Ali, Sayyidah Fatima, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, all the way up to the Imam of our time. But there's a special emphasis, not only on the Azadar, but on the youth. What do I mean here? Allama Dr. Sakhawat Sandralwi, he's a famous ulama from the USA. He takes Qafila to Hajj. He comes on TV quite a bit as well. He mentions, I know an Ayatollah in Iran by the name of Ayatollah Kosari. He says this alim one day was going from Qum to Tehran in the specific area known as Jamaran. And he went there to recite the Majlis of Ashura. It's a very sad day. He said, when I went to Jamaran to recite this Majlis, on the way, some little kids came, youths, and they grabbed my abaya. And they said, oh, Sheikh, you recite majalis for the amirs, the adults. Can you recite a majalis for us ghareeb children as well? He said, I looked at my time. I said, yes, I can. They took me into their house. There was a small mimbar. All the kids sat in front of me. No adults, all kids. I recited the Maktal. The kids cried. Then they said, before I left, wait, Agha, there's some tabarak for you. We've made some tea. They placed the tea in front of him. When he was about to drink it, he held it and it was cold. He said, I can't drink this. He left. He recited his majalis in the Imam Barga. He went back to Qum for Sham-e Ghariba. He says, I had a dream that night. But the likes of Sayyidah Fatima came into my dream. And she said, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. She said, Agha Kosari, that majlis you recited for the youths, the kids, that was so khalis in its niyyah, that was the one that was accepted from you. He said, then I felt as if Bibi began crying. I asked her, oh, Sayyidat Nisa, why are you crying? She said, why did you not have that tea? He said, Bibi, it was cold. No one can drink cold tea. It's meant to be hot. Bibi said, I made that tea. As if to say, who made the tea in reality? The kids made it. But it's like, it had so much blessing and pure intention, the tabarak counted like Fatima made it. Reassuring us what? At this Farsha Azar is something really special. And I mentioned yesterday, as the days go closer to the day of Ashura, you feel this, you could say passion, this revolt inside of you. But I mark you and I tell you this, on the night of Sham-e Ghariba, your hearts will feel quiet. You won't feel like speaking to anyone because your soul is on a journey, not just your physical body. In this respect, we mentioned yesterday that when Rasulullah said, Husaynu minni wa ana min al-Husayn, it's not only the physical part, he's my blood, I'm from him, but our souls are aligned in the sense that Rasulullah is the last prophet. There's no more prophet. But Hussein has a special spiritual significance that I am also from him. We have many companions. Rasulullah said, Salmanu minna ahlul bayt, Abu Zar minna ahlul bayt. But never the ahlul bayt are also from them. No, there's a difference. For example, when you say me, mine, my name is this, you point to your chest, don't you? Normally speaking, Assalamu alaikum, my name is this. What's this chest? That's not you. Me, my face, that's your eyes, that's your nose. That's not you. So why'd you say me? You see, there's no one eye in your whole body. This is why when the body dies, it's buried underneath the ground. Your soul traverses and it goes to the barzakh. There's no I in you yourself. You collectively are one entity with a soul. And we mentioned yesterday, you have a body, a spirit, a soul. But soul specifically, which is why they say, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Your soul will experience the death, as well as the body together. But the point is this, you collectively have a spiritual significance. Now we understand why Rasulullah said, Hussein minni wa ana min al-Hussein. Hussein is from me, but I am also from Hussein. So when Hussein is rising and he's leaving the plains of Makkah, why didn't the rest leave with him? They are crying, oh, Yabna Rasulullah. They've heard this hadith, Hussein minni wa ana min al-Hussein. Hussein is leaving Makkah and he says, I am going to meet God. Whoever wants to meet God with me should join us. What are the Hajis doing? They think they are going to meet God as well. They're going to the Kaaba. But God is where his wali is, where his hujjat is. And the hujjat of that time was Imam Hussein. So the question remains, why didn't they break their ihrams? Why did they continue to go? Because they did not have that ma'rifah. They didn't recognize themselves. They could not recognize their Lord. They couldn't recognize their Imam. And we mentioned this yesterday as well. Man arafa nafsa faqad arafa rabbah. You know yourself, you know your Lord. You know your limitations, you know your Lord. So we ask Imam Hussein, oh Imam Hussein, why are you going towards Karbala? You know where you are going, why are you leaving? Imam Hussein said himself, إنما خرجت لطلب إصلاح في أمة جد رسول الله. Now this is extremely important. What Islah is Imam Hussein going to do? I thought after the Prophet, everything was fine. But Imam Hussein is saying, there's something that was missing before that I am going to do now. Because the conditions for it are now. In the time of Imam Hassan, for 10 years he had a sulh with the likes of Muawiyah. Imam Hussein did not rise then, because the conditions weren't there. And the likes of Yazid comes and says, what is this wahi? What is this Quran? What is this namaz? What is this hajj? That's the time to rise. And Hussein picked those who could come with him. The famous example of Jabir ibn Abdullah Ju'fi, when Imam Hussein came to him in his khaymaga and said, do you want to come with me on my journey? He said, I am not well, but I have a sword and I have a horse and I have a shield. And this horse is the best in Arabia. And my sword is so sharp, even if you touch it, it will cut your hand. Imam Hussein said, I don't need your sword. I don't need your shield. I don't need your horse. I wanted you. Why? Your nafs. He picked the best of those who had nafs. But the key thing still remains. What Islah are you going to do, Imam Hussein? You see, when you go to a fight, generally speaking, any war, you pick every abled body. Hussein here is picking every abled spirit, every abled nafs. Why? Why not everybody? 30,000 men, 70,000 men, some narrations, against 72, just over 100, let's say. None of these 72 joined the 30,000. Many from the 30,000 joined the 72. Why? Ask yourself, why? The likes of Hur, he saw something in the eyes of Hussein, which he didn't see in the eyes of Umar ibn Sa'd. Imam Ali tried with wars, the likes of Siffin. You know what's happened. We remember Hazrat Abu Fadl al-Abbas in that war, but it was a very sad ending. Malik-e-Ashtar is right near the khaymaga of Muawiyah, and Ali's own people turn against him. They said, we see this Quran on the spears, so we will not fight now. Let the Quran meditate. Imam Ali said, I am the speaking Quran. I am the Hujjat of Allah. Don't be fooled by them. It's form, not substance. They said, oh Ali, they drew their swords against him. If you don't stop this war, we will turn against you. Imam Ali stopped the war. When the Sulh happened, they weren't happy. They turned it again on Imam Ali. Why did you stop the war? Imam Ali said, you told me to stop the war. Why are you blaming me now? Siffin, nothing happened. People still in the balance. Ali is correct. His enemy is correct. We don't know. Jamal happened. Is Ali correct? Is he not? Unsure. Nahrawan happened. Still unsure. Time of Imam Hassan came. Still unsure. But when the time of Imam Hussein came, he said, I am going to expose Yazid to such an extent. Till Judgment Day, you are either Husseini or Yazidi. Then you can use your akal and work backwards. As the famous scholar says, it's a domino effect. You start with Hussein and you check, where did this domino come from? The likes of Yazid. Who put him in power? Then who put Yazid, Muawiyah in power? Then you follow the domino along, which is why they hid the tragedy of Karbala from the people. Sacrifice was the only way to save Islam. It endangered, it reawakened people's nafs, which was what Imam Hussein was going for. Which is why on the Shab of Ashur, you find in the Khaymagahs of Imam Hussein, they were like bees in dhikr, tasbih. Imam Hussein is with his ashab. The likes of Qasim standing up. Is my name in that list? Look at this joy and jazba. Is my name in that list? Qasim, what's death to you? Sweeter than Hadi. You just heard this in the Manqabat recited earlier. You see the likes of Bibi Rabab with her son Ali Asghar, 6-month-old, has a purpose. You see the likes of Bibi Zainab with On and Muhammad, the whole night. You are the grandsons of Jafar at-Tayyar and Haydar al-Karrar. Reinviting that nafs inside. Awaken, you're going for your Imam. But we finish with this. Rasulullah mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Islam will be a stranger again. A time will come when Islam will be a stranger again, just like at the beginning. But blessed is the state of the stranger. What do we mean here? You see, in the beginning of Islam, how many people accepted? Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and all these other companions have mentioned. We used to see the Kaaba there. Then Rasulullah used to come behind him, Ali, who was 9 or 10, and Khadija, 3 people. They were pelting Rasulullah with stones, throwing their garbage on him, everything. Sabr. Islam was a stranger. Islam will become a stranger again. Time of Imam Hussein. I am the nafs of Rasul. You still want to kill me? They're saying, kill Hussein quickly. Why? We want to pray our namaz. What's the point of that namaz? Have you understood namaz? But Rasulullah says, blessed is the state of the stranger. In the West today, social media, how many followers have you got? How can I build my followers? There's hacking mechanisms just to increase your bots and your following on Instagram, Snapchat and the likes. No one wants to be a stranger today. Rasulullah is saying, no, blessed is the state of the stranger. Don't follow something because it's in social media. Don't follow something because it's popular. Look at its substance. Imam Hussein did the same thing, quality over quantity. When you are alone and you are strange alone, you know who's with you. They're with you because of you, not because of your wealth or your garments or your property or possessions. A famous example, there was a welterweight in boxing. He said, I won the world title. I came home, 1,088 calls, missed calls on my phone. SubhanAllah, I don't get that in a year. He got that in one night. He said the next battle, the next boxing match I lost, I came home, I thought, my phone would be more, maybe double. But look, you lost, we're here for you. How many calls on his phone? 4. 3 were from his mum, 1 from his friend. He said that put everything in its place for me. Point being, when you are flying high, everyone tags along with you. Same thing with Imam Hussein. When he's leaving Makkah, some people initially did come. We're going to become the emirs. I'm going to be the head of treasury. He's going to be the head of finance. He's going to be the head of so-and-so. Hussein said, no, this is for a sacrifice. Even on the night of Ashur, he's saying, leave. They only want me. You can all leave. They're saying, Hussein, how can we ever leave you? Muhammad wa ali Muhammad balanta salawat. And so tonight we finish on this point where everyone was with Hussein. Hussein was looking for one companion by the name of Habib ibn Mazahir. The only companion Imam Hussein wrote a letter to, "Oh Habib, come to Karbala." When Habib read this letter, he began crying. Why? He said, normally Hussein writes in the letter at the end, from Hussein ibn Ali, Hussein son of Ali. I don't know how Mazloom my master today is. He wrote in this letter from Hussein ibn Fatima, from Hussein the son of Fatima. He said, I got to Karbala and I reached and I could hear that the people were happy. Bibi Fidda came and said, oh Habib, Zainab sends a salam to you. Habib sat on the ground and began crying. What time has come upon Bint Ali, the likes of the daughters of Imam Ali? They are saying salam to me. But I would say this, O Habib ibn Mazahir, my master, you became shaheed, and your head was also on the spear. But the masayib of your head and the head of Imam Hussein are different. What do I mean here? They asked Sheikh Ja'far Shustri, O Sheikh Ja'far, we have heard that they killed Hussein by lodging a spear in his throat, or they cut it from the back of his head, or they cut his neck from the front. Sheikh Ja'far, tell us which was correct. Sheikh Ja'far began crying and said, all three narrations are correct. They first hit Hussein in the neck with a spear, then they turned him over and began hitting the back of his neck, and then the front. But I leave you with these narrations. There are two instances where there was utmost zulm done upon the head of Imam Hussein. One in Kufa, one in Sham. Sheikh al-Mufid writes in Kitab al-Irshad that in the palace of Ibn Ziyad, there was a bowl, a tasht, and the head of Hussein was placed in that bowl. And he had a cherry in his hand, a stick with a blade in it, and he began hitting the holy lips of Imam Hussein. He began poking the holy teeth of Imam Hussein. Zayd bin Arqam was sitting there. He was a Sahabi of Rasulullah. He stood up and said, "Oh Ibn Ziyad, don't hit those lips of Hussein. By Allah, I saw Rasulullah kiss those very lips." Then Ibn Ziyad turned to Shimr and said, "Oh Shimr, I've heard you killed Hussein." He said, "I did kill Hussein." He said, "Did you not find a sharper blade?" What do we mean here? He said, "I can tell by the way Hussein's veins and his skin has been cut, that your blade was very blunt." He said, "Don't blame me, Ibn Ziyad." Why? He said, "When I was killing Hussein, I could hear a lady crying, 'Don't kill my Hussein, oh man, you have children as well.'" But we finish with this. In the Zindan of Sham, this head was brought on a plate this time. For who? For the Aziza of Imam Hussein. She said, "I do not want the food." They said, "This is not food. Open